I'm live. Finally, YouTube's giving me all kinds of grief, guys. All right, let's go get Facebook. We're going to come on here in three, two, one. Live video starting, and little circles going in circles, circle, circle, circle. Do. All right, come on, come on, come on. There you are. All right. Well, I love technology. That's why I usually try to start this shit a couple minutes early. Because some of you don't like to get your shit together on time. I got to go in more than once. Anyway, hey, welcome. How are we doing this afternoon? Episode 6 of Real Talk with Keith Motherfucking Walker. And anybody else who bounces in the chat boxes or paying attention, I'm going to see if I can find out who's lurking, if anybody yet. And I don't see you, so that's okay. But we are going to get started. So today's episode of Real Talk, we are going to branch into, we're going to bounce around a little bit, but we're going to get into a topic I like to call replacement therapy. And so we're going to start with kind of peeling off of yesterday's short but sweet Spiritual Sunday offering and then roll into what that is and then roll into the next phase. All right. So first thing I'm going to do is just spend a couple minutes and read a little quip out of my nonsense manual, right? As I peek around, just to kind of open the door for some of this. And this is going to, like I said, this is going to touch on a lot of what we talked about yesterday real quick. So music is the language of the soul. We talked about religion and spirituality a while back. And again, I think the truths of all that transcend beyond our ability to really wrap up the concept of how the universe operates. But I look at it very oftentimes as church for me is that place where people congregate and connect with their spirituality together. My favorite church is a rock concert, and I highly recommend this to anybody as a treatment plan for anything. Right? Showing up at a concert hours before the doors open, hanging out with other people, standing in line, admiring each other's dress or body art, right? And telling stories of rock stars past and present is the ultimate connection point. As with anything, it's easy enough to find differences, but in this situation, everyone seems to be looking for that common ground. Then the doors open and we go hang out with the choir and sing and dance with each other in the spirit of collective humanity. Spectacular. So, again, that's just part of some of the add-ons at the end of the book. And so what's the point? How does that fit into the topic? Well, again, there is that piece. But today I'm talking about, again, what is that for all of us that makes it so important. And so I'll play a little scientist on you just to get started. And this is, I share this stuff because as I've been sharing, I come from an addiction and treatment background and all that kind of stuff. But I am very much more interested in today's world in simply calling it what it is. There you are. Hello. I interrupt myself. I hate when I do that, but I do. Welcome in. And so I'm very much human condition interest. And what I mean by that is, as I regress a little bit, like I said, we talk about a lot, at least in my circles, and what we do about addiction specifically. What I can share with you is that much of the symptomology of that, which people might frown on, or any of that, doesn't matter. It's totally human condition, is the same in everybody in the species. Like if I cut up in your head and cut up in my head and we looked at it, they look a lot alike. And in fact, if we cut open our head and we cut open our friend the rat's head, there are parts of his brain that look just like ours. Like, and they work the same way. So what's the point of that, Walker? What are you getting at? Well, what I'm getting at is that addiction itself covers a lot of ground when we call it a disease and we look at the model and all that kind of stuff. The oddball about addiction is that its symptomology carries over in a lot of different ways. And I learned early on in my recovery process, like it affects us physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Like it covers the gambit. And what I can share is, again, like the rat's probably not going to have a spiritual awakening, if that makes sense. Not sure how emotional it gets. Like his brain's only like this big. So most of what drives the rat is what I would say is that physical dependence. And when I say we can build an addict out of anybody, that's a lot of what we're talking about is that physical dependence. The rat can feel the same things as we as human beings can feel. Um, if we are pumping our brain full of chemicals, per se, or behaviors, and we'll talk more about that, but, you know, over a period of time, and you just take that away, that rat will go through withdrawal symptoms just like you or I would if we take it away. And again, we know that part of the malady is totally biological and it happens to everybody. Maybe there's a choice oddball here or there or something like that. But if you take, and I've seen it a number of times, take little old lady who broke her hip, right? And you like jack her up on Oxycontin for 6 fucking months or whatever it is. She goes through the healing process, and you just cut her off, right? How's she going to respond? I mean, just like the individual who is using recreationally a lot, right? The withdrawal is going to be the same. And so that is going to do things to the rest of the human condition, right? That human's brain. Like the drive is to fix that issue is going to be as apparent as any other mammal on the planet or any other human being. Like we're going to try to find a way to fix that shit or to feel better or feel different, whatever that is. And so that being said, getting back to that human condition and how that rolls into where we're at. So for instance, let's look at what happens in our brains. And in today's day and world, and why I say it's human condition, like we are all there. Like we are inundated with a nonstop input of dopamine releasing activities and behavior things that we were not necessarily designed to function with. Does that make sense? Or maybe we were to some degree, but how do I keep that simple? It's kind of reverting back to the music thing and the concert thing and all of that kind of stuff. There are things, I mean, our brain releases dopamine, right? When shit's cool. I'll just keep it simple. It does a lot of other shit too, but these are like we all know these terms. So a good meal, a pretty sunset, who knows, a nice conversation. I mean, there's a lot of things that like, hey, there's a little feel good going on there. There are lots of things that like go to the next level. And that, for me, again, and a lot of people that I hang out with, obviously like minded, right? Um, Going to a concert does that. Like that often releases more dopamine than normal baseline stuff. I think. I don't know. I've never hooked my head up to the gizmo that does all that. I just know how I feel when I'm at a show, right? Um, so behaviors, obviously, like it doesn't have to be chemically induced, although, again, that's easy. Um, when you take things that naturally occur in one way, shape, or form in your brain and you like add it 1,000 times, it gets the job done, right? Spike it up. Um, but behaviors, one of my favorites. I like to jump out of airplanes. Like, why would you jump out of a perfectly good airplane? I'm like, because it's fucking cool. I'm going to tell a story about that. I'll save it for now. No, I'll just go ahead and do it, and then we'll come back to it as I bounce around in circles on this, right? So I used to work with a doc early in my professional career, and I remember I there was a time I was going to go skydiving for the first time with a few of my colleagues, and so we I told the doc we were doing that, and of course he like never sleeps and reads every fucking manual there is and all that good shit, and he said, skydiving releases as much dopamine as IV cocaine, and which is like the highest peak of dopamine release you can possibly have, or basically that. He didn't say it quite like that. I'm being a bit obnoxious, but it was that. And I'm like, okay, thanks, Doc. Like, okay, what's the rest? And he's like, the experiment was they took people, they'd hook their heads up to all the brain neuroimaging shit, right? So you can see what's firing off. They fucking jack them up with cocaine, and right, shit fires off. And so they take the same individual, detox, and kick their ass out of a fucking airplane, all hooked up, and watch, and you cannot tell the difference. Like it's here, and it looks just like it. And I'm like, oh, that's okay, something to look forward to. I guess, right? So I remember beyond all the rest of the anxiety and the shit that was going on was I remember vividly like jumping out of the airplane, and again you're at 13,000 feet and you're from 0 to 120 like that, and free fall, and I'm just like, right, I mean, just ooh, goosebumps. There's a freebie. Just fuck. And, you know, screaming because that's what they told you to do to make sure you breathe. And going down. And I just thought to myself, I'm really fucking glad I never tried IV cocaine because I would have sold my fucking house and my children and my like, fuck. It was amazing. And so, as we kind of bring a story like that, like bring that back to what we've been talking about, is at that moment, like I took my brain to a place it had never been before, and it fucking liked it. And it wanted to do that again. And so I did. Not that same day. I've done it several times since, but I know how I operate. Like shit that fires off like that in my brain, I am built. It's part of the human condition, right? Without thinking about it, if it's that good, it just makes sense to go do it again. Oh, why wouldn't you? But certainly for those of us that's gotten out of control before and been problematic. I was grateful that the nearest jump site was 2 or 3 hours from my house and a couple $100, and it's like I couldn't fucking go do that every day. So that kept me out of selling everything and making a mess out of my life, just like go jump out of an airplane every fucking day. But I, if you can relate to that at all, welcome to humanity. Welcome to it. We, even the fucking rat will go back to the same bad cheese if it makes it feel good, no matter what kind of thing. And so, and we are all, again, we are all biologically um, able to do that. Like it's part of that. You don't have to be, um, you don't have to be the junkie on the corner to be that. You're just you and me, and that's it is. It's simple biology. If we like shit, we do it again. Um, if we like shit, and the problem is again, if we like shit and then go do it enough, then we create dependencies. Okay, and that's where people get into trouble because again, there's an expectation. You take your brain to different places it wasn't supposed to go to or up here, and we can create that need. And the need is like you're not going to die without it, but it can get to a point where you might feel like that, or at least it's miserable enough. And when we're not feeling great, we don't make the best decisions. You see where I'm tracking with this? And again, this doesn't have to be you fall into that. This is human condition. This is everybody is capable of getting to this place. At least that's just my experience. And it's my opinion and it's my show. So I get to have that. And maybe scientists or people who do, you know, research based on whoever's paying them, blah, 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 etc. You might disagree. That doesn't matter to me. Okay, cool. And again, without getting specific, keeping it in human layman's terms, that's really what it is. And I say that like we can build a problem out of anybody. Little old lady, I can make her a dope fiend. You just give it to her enough, and then she's got to have it, quote unquote. And then she does silly shit like go to 3 or 4 pharmacies, start doc shopping or any of that. I've seen it any number of times. Had no business getting into trouble like that. I don't know. You like to gamble? Gamble, right? I mean, people got to go back, got to keep pushing the buttons. Have no business doing that with their time in their life, yet there they are. Because why? Well, because ding, ding, ding. If this shit isn't firing off, I feel like shit. That's as simple as it has to get. And so, like I said, let's kind of wrap that piece up. So, what is replacement therapy? So, because again, this is just the way I box it up. If we have battered our brains over the course of a lifetime, if we have gone places we aren't supposed to go and even overdid it, lack of a better word, we've trained our brain to that it's there. Like there's part of our brain that knows it's there and it likes it. And so it will ding, 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 like, right? Triggers, cues, cravings, those are all the terms, but we've all felt them. Again, it's a natural part of how this mechanism operates with stuff like that. So we will not be denied, if that makes sense. I don't know anybody who goes like full monk after a good life run, right? Where I'm just going to go hang out on a mountain in Tibet and go a lot, and that's going to be my new existence. Now, some people do it, and I don't judge it, and it's probably fucking spectacular. Is why they do it. But for most of us, we'd be like bored in 2 minutes, right? And not our gig. And so there's always going to be that part of our brain that is seeking that. And that's where I feel like a lot of recovery comes from the process of, I just call it, I made it up. I don't know. Somebody made it up, but it's just the terms that fell in for me, replacement therapy. And the thing is, if I'm engaged in a behavior that's bad for me, like I'm having bad results or it's causing grief, hate, and discontent in my world, etc., I have to, like, I can't just stop and right. There's going to be a heavy desire, however we box that, to be doing something. So that's got to be replaced. Does that make sense? So, how do I put this in terms we understand a little anecdotally? You know, obviously, I've dealt with a lot of people that are dealing with addictions issues, and substance dependency is the wheelhouse per se. And so replacement therapy, like I throw that out a lot for people. Like if you've been, you know, doing meth for years, which is right, you're not gonna find pleasure in normal everyday shit. Not like you used to, or not like people who haven't experienced that. Again, you're used to this, and this is good, but it's not this, right? So there's always that lack. And the challenge is to find the things, like you may not get here again or not get there that way, but are there other things? And that's the challenge. And that would be the challenge, I guess, I would share with any of you guys. If you are in that position where you're needing to, um, if you're needing to do some behavior changing work stuff, I mean, that's like I've done it. I've gone to concerts with people, clients before. I remember because it was kind of a bribe to stay clean. It was goofy as that sounds, and that's not really exactly how it went down, but um, but I did, and you know what? It was part of an official treatment plan, and it went in the progress notes, and it got paid for um, because the science supported it, and so we went and did replacement therapy. And instead of sitting in the office talking shit about how fucked up his boss or wife or family or any of that shit was, we went to a concert and we stayed clean that day. Like, and he experienced this, and it wasn't this, but it was this. And I'm like, you can do that as long as your pocketbook allows you. You can do this regularly. And the consequence machine is very, like, most people don't go to prison because they bought a concert ticket, right? And so the replacement happens. Again, what did I say? Like, I like to skydive. That's a good one. I love the concerts. I love a lot of other things too, and so do you. But this is a key component to behavior changing. And so again, it's not like cure, poof, magic wand, fix, to any of that kind of stuff. Like the condition yet remains. Like there's parts of my brain that are fucked up that we have built fucked up, or that were designed fucked up, or however we want to describe that in the universe's image and whatnot. And, recognizing that obviously is the first part, but, being able to make different decisions, part of it has to be in knowing what they could be, if that makes sense. Just knowing that we got to make some changes, or we don't like this or that. Okay, and then what? Right? But I mean, this is why conversations like this at whatever level are really good. And because people do shit that's cool, you watch them do it and they don't get all fucked up or in trouble, and you're like, oh, maybe I should try that. Or something like that. So, need to know the options. Yeah, there you go. Welcome back, soybeans. And I see you lurking over here. Perfect. Yeah, so whether you said that before I said it, I don't know, but we're on the same track, Pokey, so that's awesome. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's what I used to do. I spent a lot of time doing that, sitting in a chair like this across from somebody else who did not know how to jump out of an airplane or go to a rock concert or do anything different. And so, there you go. That is, I think I'm going to probably look at wrapping up at that point. Um, if you've been watching, I appreciate that. Y'all know the deal. I'm going to do my little sales pitch right at the end here while you're here. I'm digging what I'm doing here. I hope it matters. I hope it does to me anyway. It's keeping me from taking extra naps during the day or any of that. It kind of on a mission here. But again, if there's anything of value here, share it. In the moment, it's replacement therapy, right? But half that word is, it's the world according to Walker, and if any of it means shit, share it. I mean, it ain't costing nobody nothing except a little bit of time to check it out. Hopefully, there is some value to it. I obviously always am interested in feedback. Does it suck? Is it awesome? Are we hitting the points? This, that, any of that? I mean, it's your show too, and trying to put all that together. We will be live tomorrow at noon, just like every day. So I haven't figured out what we're going to talk about tomorrow, but I got 23 hours to figure it out, right? And plug the Recovery Unfiltered -42 is on YouTube. Come see the doc and I. We are going to be talking about all things MAT, medicated assisted treatment, is a wonderful topic. And that's going to be next Tuesday, July 14th at 5 p.m. And that's a YouTube gig. So if you don't have a YouTube, get one and come follow us. And that's a show that we put together it's going to be every week or two, something like that, with me and Doc Charlene. And so that's that piece. And I don't know who you are. Sorry about that. I wish it was the lottery guy sending me $1 million, but I don't play lottery, so that ain't going to help. Jackass. All right. Always, thank you. Appreciate that, soybeans. Waiting to hear from your buddy. We're gonna have a party here in my little box, hopefully sometime soon. Again, appreciate y'all. Like, you have no idea how much fun I'm having with this shit. I got a double neck mouthpiece and nowhere to go. So it's just until they kick me off the platforms. I'm just going to pretend everybody loves me and just keep doing this shit. Again, tell your friends, share it. Tell your friends, share it. If tell your friends, share it, hit me up. I got autographed copies with swag. I'll ship it to you. Um, on the cheap, hit me up. And let's keep this party rolling. And we're going to wrap this up for today. So I appreciate you guys again. Bailing out. Have a great day. See you tomorrow, unless I see you in a real soon. Real talk. Deuces. All right. Facebook is out. I know I always walk you guys all out together, right? Okay, hang on. Okay, that's taking its sweet old time. All right. That one's ending. If you're hanging around on one of the other ones, you can bail, you can hang out. Well, okay, that one's done finally. Okay, that's that. Fucking rock star. Soybeans, appreciate you hanging out. Here, have that because I don't fucking know what else to send right now. There's that. Patreon. Nobody in the box. Well, come check it out later, fools. That one's out. All right. And then YouTube. Deuces.